We have a full program. Anyway, as I was saying, this is the January. Welcome, everyone, to the January meeting of Speakers Bureau. We have a very full program. We have some new people going to be a part of our running Speakers Bureau that are going to help me a little bit, and we'll get some things done that we weren't, maybe hopefully weren't getting done before. But I'd like to introduce you to the new team. Sunny Gale spent a couple of years at least making sure we kept on the straight and narrow and getting things done, and she has moved on to some other responsibilities. But we have some people here that we're going to help pull this thing together, and I'm not sure that I see Michael Ozier is our official co-chair, and I've convinced him that he will work harder this year than he has been able to now that he's retired and moved to the Northern California, but he's still going to be a part of our Speakers Bureau. I don't see him here. We were going to have short introductions from each of us. So let me begin with the ones that I do see. Our publicity person, when makes those awesome, wonderful flyers, and is here, and she puts that publicity out and sends that publicity out. You would have gotten one on Monday. People were saying they didn't know how to get to this meeting. And a quick reminder, and that is that some of those numbers will be different in February. Starting a new year, February we'll be using a 2022 password and some other numbers. So let's start with Sharon. We're going to go from Sharon to Rob. So Sharon is first to talk to us a little bit about how she's going to make me look good. I mean, make the Speakers Bureau look good. Sharon?
I basically put colors and shapes and words together that send a message. It's called visual communication. Short and to the point, colorful, eye-catching graphics. They're going to be different every time, but with a common theme, using the Toastmasters branding elements for consistency. The Speakers Bureau, Tom has twisted my arm to let me do things that I like to do, and that is make flyers. That's basically what I will be helping the Speakers Bureau and Tom with this year. The end.
And they're the face of what happens in this Speakers Bureau. So when they see your flyer, that's that professional look that it looks. And by the way, she did this for us for a while before, and then had to take a gap in between doing some other responsibilities. So we really appreciate her coming back and being able to do this. Rob is a new part of our team. He's taking care of all the stuff that if I couldn't do flyers, and I can't, I certainly can do the technology. So Rob, he's from Club 797 Saturday morning, and the husband of a wonderful Diane Gunnerman. Rob Gunnerman, tell us a little bit about your responsibility.
Sure. What I know and what I think my job is, I'm going to be your Zoom host. Basically, what I have been doing for the past year, Sunny emailed me the web links, and I was the one putting up the YouTubes. So I'm still going to be your Zoom host, making sure you guys look good. And then I'm going to splice it and make it and put videos out there for you guys. And each person who does do a presentation, I make a separate playlist for that individual. So if you want to go somewhere or anything and show people, this is what I talk about. You'll have a playlist on just your videos and what you talk about. So basically, I'm going to be your Zoom host and your YouTube guy. That's me. And I'm from, like Tom said, Club 797.
Thank you, Rob. And by the way, a dream of mine from the beginning when I first got involved with Speakers Bureau was that we would be recorded and those recordings would be available. And lo and behold, somewhere along the line, Rob made that possible. And that is really important to a successful Speakers Bureau, to be able to have access to those videos. As he said, if you go out to speak somewhere and say, well, I don't know if we want you to come and speak. Well, you want to see me speak? There I am on YouTube. Go look up that particular date. Maybe you don't want to tell them the date you did badly. No, none of you did badly. So, all right, but you'll be able to have access to that. So that is really essential to our success. Well, I know what is essential to our success is, even though she doesn't have an official title as far as the team, is my my sidekick in life, Connie Jameson, a former Speakers Bureau chair. And she's going to be the one that keeps me on the straight and narrow. Connie, you want to say a few words?
Keeping Tom on the straight and narrow. Whoa, what a job. But I do my best. I'm his proofreader and his reminder of what needs to be done. It's exciting to be part of this group and see all that Tom has accomplished and will continue to accomplish. As far as myself, I'll just give a little background. I've enjoyed going out and speaking to groups, both on Zoom and in person. My topics, I've shared about being a blood donor. When I give my next donation, I believe that will make me 13 gallons that I have given of my blood. Book writing and publishing. During this past year, I published my first book. So that's something that I can share and as far as that experience. Toastmasters, of course, always a subject that I feel so strongly about, the Toastmaster benefits and the Toastmaster experience. Something I haven't spoken about, but I think I would enjoy doing so, is about traveling. I have some fun memories of travel experiences and would be glad to share those. What I see as far as going out and sharing is the sharing, it's the connecting, it's the giving to others. For example, donating blood. I may have people who are, they thought about it, but it sounds kind of scary and I don't know what it'll be like. Well, I can share my experience. I've thought about writing a book. Well, I can share that experience and what I went through and answer questions and so forth. Now, what I always do is in my introduction, I mention Toastmasters and how important it's been for me. And then usually in the speech as well, and especially when I talk about writing and publishing a book, I share how Toastmasters and writing groups, they just go hand in hand. Each enhances the other. In fact, in my book, I have a page at the end that's in appreciation. And I thank my writing group that I was in. I thank Toastmasters, my Toastmaster groups, for all that they help. So I think it's important when we go out to give, to share, to connect with others, and then also to make sure that we recognize this wonderful organization to which we belong. Mr.
Okay.
Tom.
And she kind of steps in for Michael Osher because Michael's not here. She's kind of my in-house vice chair. So she gives me advice and we talk over ideas, and that's how it goes from there. Marilyn Nepke is, they say the most important person in a Toastmaster meeting is the timer to make sure everybody doesn't go overtime. Tell us a little bit about your job as the official Speakers Bureau timer.
I'm not too sure how I got this job, but I got it. Just like every other Toastmaster gets a job. Tonight, I guess everybody's 4 to 6, so I just do the green at 4, and then I guess the yellow at 5, and the other one. And I'm trying to get different colors besides just the plain old colors, so I'm trying to use my flowers that I like. But it's just timing. Timing is the one thing that we can't get back, and it keeps on moving. So we need to do timing, and so we can stay on top of things and keep winning all our winnings. And thank you, Tom, for allowing me to continue my practice of timing people.
Okay, well, I appreciate you doing that. It's so important for us to, and sometimes I forget to say something, but it's so important for you to be here and make sure we're doing what we need to be doing. And we just talked about basically kind of this staff is kind of like the officers in a club. And I've done a number of officer installations over the years. And one of the things that always impressed me was when they turned around, the person installing the officers asked the members if they were ready to take on their responsibility as being members. And of course, as a member of Speakers Bureau, as a QS especially, you have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to you to try and find opportunities for you to speak. And we're not doing as good a job of that as I'd like to see us do. But we have a responsibility as members to go and find place to speak, report back to us, let us know you're doing it. Make sure you talk about the benefits of Toastmasters, even if it's briefly, when you are there to present. And so you're kind of paying back in that way, but also you might, and I know one of our members has said she might have an in with the Lions clubs. And so it's kind of the responsibility of everybody else, since I really can't do it all, would be to contact organizations in your community and find that, even if you tell me, you say, there's a gentleman at Lions Club that wants speakers, and if you want to hand it over to me, fine, we will follow up on it and do that. So we just need all the help we can get to find opportunities for our qualified speakers to present. We had a wonderful meeting last month, and there are some people in here that ought to have their have a pat on their back, and I'm going to announce it if I slip and say the forbidden word contest. Forgive me, please, Toastmasters International. But anyway, we had a competitive speaking event, and there were some winners. And of course, everybody was a winner because the audience was a winner. But anyway, these were the ones that will get trophies. The plaques have been ordered. The trophies are still sitting on my kitchen table, but the plaques have been ordered. We can put the plates on there with the names and their title. And for our tall tales, Dan McGill won first place. Richard Snyder and Judy Van Arsdale. Judy is here somewhere, I think. Won a tie for second place. We had two separate Table Topics events in which we actually used Table Topics from the original year of Table Topics being formed here in basically in our district 40 years ago. And the winner of the first event was Nathan Sung, that young, at that point, 18-year-old from That's Debatable, followed by ties between Richard Snyder and Kathy Salata. So those are that one. And then in the second Table Topics event, first place, Alicia Snyder, and second place, Lois Sicking. So those trophies will be figured out a way to get them to the winner. And want to congratulate them. If you see them in person, you congratulate them also. Okay, we are ready to start hearing our qualified speakers start giving us that little bit of an introduction. And with that, let's start with, I know I have a scheduled time for Melinda. Did you want to go first, or did you want to wait till 7:30? I was scheduled her for 7:30, but anyway, she was here, and she'll probably be back with that at that time. So, okay, let's go with probably the person that is coming from us to the farthest distance of all, a member of our Speakers Bureau, a member of Toastmasters in District 12, Diane Piela from Hawaii.
Aloha Toastmasters and fellow qualified speakers. I'm Diane Piela, and as Tom told you, I am a speaker from California, where I received all my training in Toastmasters, but now currently live in Kona, Hawaii. Well, like all of you, I have been a virtual speaker because it's really hard to get out there physically at this point. And I have 3 topics that I speak on. I do travel to California and any of the Hawaiian Islands though to speak when it opens up and we're live again. The 3 topics I speak on are navigating the speed humps of life, the courage to dream, and the journey of a lifetime moving to Hawaii, which is based on my book that I wrote back in 2019, and Charlotte and many of you other ones actually reviewed it for me, so I appreciate it. The first topic, navigating the speed humps of life. When was the last time you drove over a speed hump? Have you ever felt like your life is one speed hump after speed hump after speed hump? I have. And that's what my speech is about. As you may remember, I've given this speech actually twice, last in October of last year. I am a retired disabled family medicine doctor. Like many of you, I have faced many challenges in life. One or two of them has been that I've been paralyzed on the left side of my body twice in life. The first time was when I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis in 2000. And the second time was when I had a cerebral hemorrhage back in 2013. I became totally disabled as a physician and left medicine in 2004. But I picked myself up and I moved to California, and that's when I started my Toastmaster journey. Although I specifically speak about my medical and my career-related challenges, the speech, Navigating the Speed Humps of Life, is for anyone who has a challenge, a disability, or an obstacle in life. And that's all of us. So the speech is for everyone. I also touch on challenges such as financial problems, relationship problems, job-related and career-related problems. I share with you my passion about never giving up. And I speak honestly about not having your challenge limit the choices you make in life. And then making those challenges you have in life the beginning of your next journey. I love giving this speech because it has so much of me in it that I think I can share with others. And I focus on giving this speech to people with chronic debilitating diseases like multiple sclerosis or stroke. Like I said, I try to relate to anyone, and everyone has challenges in life. My second topic I speak about is the courage to dream. How many of you have been a surfer in the past or currently are surfers? Raise your hands. Not a whole lot of surfers in the group. Well, I have a joke for you. What is the difference between an ironing board and a surfboard? An ironing board is a surfboard that has given up on its dream. So whenever you see a surfboard, I want you to think of me and I want you to think of the speech, the courage to dream. Do you have the courage to dream and the courage to pursue that dream? Every dream begins with a dreamer. I want you to always remember that you have within you the passion, you have within you the patience, you have within you the strength to reach for the stars and achieve that dream. This speech is so important to me because one of my dreams in life was moving to Hawaii, and I finally did it after 2018. I had thought about it since 1984, so it took me 36 years to really get here. But I am so blessed because I have achieved two of my dreams in life, becoming a physician and moving to Hawaii. I like giving this speech to high school students, college students, really anyone who wants to be more and do more in life other than what their current living situation allows them to do. And the third speech I give is about my book, The Journey of a Lifetime, Moving to Hawaii. This I wrote and had published in 2019. And with this speech, I talk about the experiences that I went through moving to Hawaii. I share some of the chapters in my book about choosing which island to live on, choosing a place to live, finding a job, preparing to move here, the best way to move yourself, your pets, and all your personal belongings. I give this speech to realtors and their clients, to visitors who are curious about moving here, and anyone who is thinking about, planning on, or in the process of moving. So I do have three topics that I speak on. Again, the courage to dream. Every time you think of that, think of me, think of a surfboard. Navigating the speed humps of life. Every time you see a speed hump, think of me. And thirdly, the journey of a lifetime, moving to Hawaii. Every time you think of Hawaii, think of me. And I look forward to my next speaking opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. That message of helping people achieve their dreams. I can't help but think back to when I was 23 or 24, the idea of giving a speech in front of an audience would not have been a dream. It would have been a nightmare just to think about that. And probably if my teachers thought about me as being a teacher, it would have been a nightmare for them to think about that. And yet helping people to achieve all of their potential is the most important thing we as speakers can do. So that's very, very important. Melinda, did you want to go next? That'll get you pretty close to your 7:30 time. Melinda?
How are you?
Okay, I'm ready.
Can
Go
you see
ahead
me?
if you wish.
I was trying to see if I can use another computer because I'm using my phone and I wanted to be standing up. But
Well, we're just glad to have you here. So you do your best.
okay. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yes.
I saw you and then you disappeared.
Oh, I see you.
Can you see me?
Yes.
We can see you now.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, you make it sound like I'm a fool.
All right.
Yeah, and just going in the computer room.
All right.
I think Ralph.
Qualified speakers, fellow Toastmasters, friends, and guests. I'd like to present someone to you. Someone, this person, you will get to know. The person's name is Melinda Muganzo. Melinda Muganzo is a distinguished Toastmaster, qualified speaker, college educator, leadership trainer, and TEDx speaker. Wow, you say, well, who is that person? What do I know about her? Well, let me help you understand who Melinda Muganzo is. Melinda is M. She's a motivator. She focuses on motivating minds to move forward with their missions. M. Melinda is E. She's an educator. She believes in electrifying individuals to experience energy and synergy as she shares educational information. Melinda's she's focused on helping lives to be free in their spirit, free in learning information, free in capturing new thoughts. Melinda is I, she's an illustrator. And how does she do that? Imagery with the information that she shares through imagery and through imagination. Melinda is N. She's a navigator. She navigates niceness and nurture to help individuals navigate their own zone. Melinda is D. She's a determinator. She's dedicated to providing dynamic strategies for individuals in their own environment. And Melinda is A. She's an activator. She helps individuals to look at their attitudes and transform their attitudes into awesome altitudes for the environments that they reside in. Yes, this is Melinda, M-E-L-I-N-D-A. And what else might you know about Melinda? Melinda is a life coach. Her business name is Make Success a Mindset. Now, how does that happen? How do you function as a life coach? Well, you have clients. And what do you do with your clients? You help to transform their life. I can tell you a story about one of the clients. His name is Michael, but I won't tell you his last name. That'll remain nameless. But I remember Michael reaching out to me on LinkedIn. He sent me a message, put me on your calendar. So we met and I got to know Michael. Michael had been in the manufacturing industry for 20 plus years. And now he wanted to be in human resource management. I said to him, Michael, that is a big transformation to switch careers from manufacturing to human resource management. But we spent 6 sessions together, and I helped him understand who he was as an individual. I did some assessment testing with him, shared his stories and learned about who he was, suggested for him to pursue certification in human resource management. And through that process, those 6 sessions, Michael today is in his element of human resource management as a certified professional. When you function as a life coach, you get to help individuals transform their lives. Another aspect of the world is being in college education. As a college educator, it's my privilege to help students transform their mindsets into their career path. I focus with my students on helping them developing the art of critical thinking. And through critical thinking, they learn how to be resolute. They learn how to be ready to deal with situations once they get into the workplace, in their workplace environment. So being able to be a college educator is quite a privilege. And then lastly, to be a leadership trainer, it's so much fun walking into a room and totally changing that environment. I suggest to all of you, I challenge you, be you, do you. If you're interested in doing something new, pursue that something new. Open up your mindset and pursue and grow and soar. That's what makes success a mindset is all about. If you need a speaker that is a professional, an educated professional in over 70 topics, if you need a leadership trainer to help guide you in your organization into a new direction, if you need a life coach to help give you discipline and help change your mindset and soar to a new level, I invite you, I challenge you to contact this person, Melinda Sewer Muganzo. She can be reached how? I'm glad you asked that question. You can send an email to msmmelinda@gmail.com, or you can call 909-704-2383. I'm happy to be of service to you. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, leadership trainer, TEDx speaker, qualified speaker. I'm here to help you soar to the next level. Thank you for your time, fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you, Melinda. I know you had to go to a lot of trouble to squeeze away from your responsibilities this evening, so I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much for coming in and giving us time in the middle of your class, I think, is that you had to get away from your class for a little bit. Our next presenter is a very busy person too. I know that she had to squeeze away time from her line of employment out in the desert. Dominique, I am interested in hearing what you have to say. I haven't talked to you for a while. I talked to you, but I haven't heard you speak. So please, you are the next one. Unmute.
Thank you so much, Tom. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and fellow qualified speakers. My name is Dominique Fruckmann. I am co-owner of Escape Room Palm Springs. Escape Room Palm Springs is a tourist attraction, and we also do team building. We are not just an escape room that happens to do team building. We are actually professional team builders who happen to own an escape room. I'd like to explain the difference between team bonding and team building. A lot of people don't understand that there even is a difference, but by the time I'm done talking, you will have a good, solid understanding of the difference. What's the difference between building and bonding? Well, let's say a group goes bowling together. They all have a couple of beers, they bowl a game, everybody laughs, shares, gets to know each other. And by the end of the bowling game, this group has bonded. They've experienced something fun, they've achieved a common goal, and they've gotten to know each other a little better. That's team bonding. However, have they really built any skills by the end of the evening, other than maybe learning how to tip back a few and keep bowling those 300s? Who can say? Probably not. But at Escape Room Palm Springs, we have figured out how to actually do team building in the following way. Let's say we have 2 groups of 8 players each. We'll put them in 2 rooms, 2 escape rooms at the same time. And in case you're not familiar with an escape room, it's a live adventure game where you're not locked in the room and you have 60 minutes to achieve a common goal, solving logic puzzles and using only your wits and your teammates. So each team starts at the same time and the timers start, 2 separate rooms. During that game, we watch their team play, analyze it, and at the end of that 60 minutes, win or lose, we give them a debriefing. We explain to them, very similarly to the way that we do a Toastmasters evaluation, what they did well as a team and what they could do better the next time that they play. By explaining to them what their strengths are, and we don't even call them weaknesses, we just say, the next time you play together, here's what you're going to want to try. Maybe ask for a little more help. Maybe since you did a great job communicating, but some of you weren't listening while some of you were communicating. Or don't cluster so much, perhaps divide and conquer. Did you know that when groups celebrate small victories, they're statistically more likely to succeed? Try high-fiving when you get those little victories. So we give them our advice as experienced, expert team builders. Then we give them 5 or 10 minutes to relax while we put the rooms back together again. And then we switch them. Group 1 goes into the room that group 2 was just in, and group 2 goes into the room that group 1 was in, and they play each other's room. And now, based on the information we just gave them, they play to their strengths and they improve the areas that need improvement. And every single time, it has yet to fail. If they lost the first game, they win the second game. And if they won the first game with 3 or 4 minutes left on the clock, they win the second game with double digits worth of minutes left on the clock. That's team building. Only once you assess a team's skill level and advise them of what they can do better, and then give them that opportunity to do better, can you actually build a team. Now you understand the difference between team building and team bonding. Wouldn't you rather build a team than just bond? Consider, if you would, especially as people are getting back together in person after a long time of not being in person, of team building at Escape Room Palm Springs. Our website is escapeps.com, and we use tried and true Toastmasters methods to improve our teams. I'm an award-winning evaluator at the district level. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, a Lean Six Sigma black belt, and a DISC certified trainer. We can be reached at escapeps.com. And I thank you for letting me explain the difference between team building and team bonding. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you, Dominique. I will remember never to say anything bad about you after hearing about your black belt. But anyway, it certainly sounds like something we should be doing. Maybe we should get a group of qualified speakers in one room and another group in another room and do that sometime to find out how much we can all learn. So sounds like fun. We have done that, Connie, and I remember going and doing it once, and that was a lot of fun. I can't say that we must not have been a great successful team, because I think we might still be there unless someone let us out. But anyway, we had a lot of fun. Our next speaker is someone I want on my team whenever I take any kind of a competition, and that is our, well, at least for now, our youngest qualified speaker ever, and that is Mr. Ryan Oddman. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and honor guests. It's great to be here among the greatest Toastmasters here at District 12. It's good seeing Charlotte Noggle. It's good seeing Ralph Rivers. It's good seeing everybody here. Yes, I see some new faces as well. My goodness, it has been a long time. Is that Roz Carter? Oh my gosh. I would love to see your pretty face live right now. But anyway, so for those of you who do not know me, my name is Ryan Oddman, and I am a qualified speaker here in the Inland Empire Speakers Bureau, and it is always a pleasure to always get to speak whenever I can. I want to share with you an interesting statistic that I just found out just now. 1 out of 44 kids in the United States of America are diagnosed with autism. I'm going to say that one more time. 1 out of 44 kids in the United States of America are diagnosed with autism. When 2 years ago, it used to be 1 out of 59. This raises a lot of concerns in our society. What is the cause of autism? Is there a cure? What are we going to do? What's going to happen with these kids in the future? A lot of questions and not a lot of answers. But I have a story that I want to share with you about a student that I work with that has autism, and I'm going to name him Kiwa. Kiwa is 21 years old. He does not know how to talk, not right now. I believe one day I'm going to see a miracle where this man is going to be talking one day. I believe that with all my heart, that I'm going to see Kiwa speak one day to me. Kiwa has the most amazing smile, the greatest laugh. He interacts with people through with his eyes. You can tell when he's feeling angry or upset or happy through his eyes, how he looks at you. And Kiwa has taught me a lot this past year, especially with learning how to connect with somebody that has autism. Kiwa and I, the first day that we worked together was 2021, so January 2021, a year ago. And the first few weeks of working with Kiwa, it was hard. About 1 week of working with him, Kiwa, he bit my arm, like he was like latching onto my arm with his bite. And you can't see it anymore, but I had a really big scar for a few months on my arm. And it was traumatic. And then a few weeks later, I'm still trying to be persistent with him. I'm still trying to connect with him. I'm still trying to build a bridge with him. I take him over to an obstacle course at our school. I work at a non-public special needs school. Kiwa didn't want to do the obstacle course, so he was trying to run away. And as I was trying to block him from running away, he latched on to this arm right here to bite again. And this time I lost my balance that he fell to the floor on top of me. Talk about traumatic. But at the same time, maybe it's because he thought I was a tasty chocolate bar or something, I don't know. But the whole point is, I had one mission. That one mission was to love Kiwa unconditionally. Working with people with autism is a challenge, especially knowing that there's a wide spectrum. There's different kinds of people with autism. Some are very smart. People like Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs or Albert Einstein, they were known to have autism. If you look really closely, you could see those symptoms of autism. Or there's people that just can't function in society because it may be too loud. The sun may be too bright. It varies. Autism varies. But I had one mission, which was to work with Kiwa. And I continued to go to work with him day in and day out, even though it was hard, even though there were times I didn't want to go to work, even though there were times I actually did call off of work because I didn't want to work with Kiwa. But I had to learn that no, Ryan, you can be consistent, you can be persistent. And then I learned and I just got down on my knees. And I just prayed to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm like, God, give me the strength and the love to work with Kiwa. A few months later, things started looking up. I continued to work with him, and I saw that smile shine even brighter the more that I worked with Kiwa. Consistency made the difference. Even though there was a time where he had to pull out, he was angry, so he pulled my afro. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I used to have this big afro. But the things I had to cut it because Kiwa was pulling my hair and he's a strong man. And so I had to cut my hair because I wanted to continue to be consistent and be persistent with Kiwa, no matter how hard it was. Looking back on 2021, one thing I've learned is if I'm going to build bridges with people with autism, I have to be consistent. I have to let go of my own pride, and I have to learn to be selfless. If any of you have a hard time with being selfish out there, work with people with special needs. It will definitely change your heart. But with all that being said, I love doing speeches about working with my students. I love sharing speeches about even my own personal experience of growing up with autism. Some of you may not know this. I was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old, and I wasn't supposed to talk, read, or do anything with my life. I was supposed to be in an institution by 20. But my grandmother prayed to Jesus that he would heal me from autism, so I carried the belief that I am healed from autism. And now I get to love people, no matter their beliefs, no matter where they're at. I love people regardless of them being special needs or not. But one thing that I have a really strong passion for is connecting with people with special needs and teaching others how to connect with people with special needs. And I'm realizing it's only one word: being consistent every single day with that one person that has special needs. So with all that being said, I don't know if you know anyone with special needs in your life, but I just want to encourage you, continue to be consistent and it will make a difference. And now Kiwa and I, we're having a great time together. And one thing there's the scar of his bite is still on me, but I've changed my mindset to not looking at it as a bad, ugly scar, but a love mark, because I know that Kiwa loves me because I've learned that persistence makes the difference. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. I am so proud that you are a member of our Speakers Bureau. And if you're ever in need of someone to adopt you, I'm sure that Connie and I will stand right there in line to do that, because we would be proud to have you member of our family. You're so special. Oh, well, now I know what makes you special. Okay, our next speaker, well, she has an act to follow, but I know she's up to that. Our former Egyptian, our past district governor, Dr. Charlotte Nagel. Introduce yourself to this audience.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tom. It is great to be back with you again, with all of you. It's so good to just feel like I've never left, but I thank God every day that I am alive. As a distinguished Toastmaster, Toastmasters has provided me, along with many others, the opportunity to find our voices in sharing what has made a difference in our lives. My voice embodies adventures. My passion is to share those stories and lessons that I've had the privilege to experience and pass them forward to anyone who wants to learn and grow. I have lived in 4 foreign countries, teaching at all levels within that, including the latest of Cairo, Egypt, for 8 years. 7 of those was as the only American professor at Cairo University, experiencing many aspects of that country, as well as the Arab Spring crisis. My voice is strong in this adventure. There are many, many stories that can be told about living in a foreign country, or particularly Cairo. In addition, while serving as a school principal, experiencing a shooting at my campus prior to Columbine incident, it led me to obtain my PhD in conflict management and peace studies. My voice has been heard in many places in many countries, and my on conflict resolution, and I'm helping individuals and groups deal with conflict that they experience in their daily lives in a more effective way. My voice is passionate and energetic in this adventure. A third area in which I have developed my voice is in the area of leadership. Having been a leader for over 55 years, clear back when I was teaching neighborhood kids on my patio in my home, art, music, spelling, whatever, hopscotch, whatever, working with kids in swimming, doing recreational activities. My leadership skills have developed over those years from basic to advanced. And my voice has developed a very unique perspective on how we label success. My voice is quality and solid in this particular adventure. These are the three areas I want to focus upon in helping others grow in either learning to live effectively in a foreign country, particularly about the Arab Spring. That was an amazing event that I lived through. Conflict resolution. How do we help these kids who are being bullied? How do we help adults that are dealing with conflict at their work? And then leadership development. How do I develop my own skills to become the most effective leader in this world that we are dealing with? They are important today as they ever have been. And if you're looking for a voice that includes adventure, passion, strong, energetic energy, and quality, then I encourage you to remember Dr. Charlotte Noggle. You can make contact at the Inland Empire District 12 Speakers Bureau. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. I know you were a big hit when we sent you to the Kiwanis Club to speak. So, and they mentioned that in the past after you were there, they were glad to hear you. You're one of the first to do that. Our next speaker has already been referred to as a beautiful lady by Ryan, and that will be our past district governor, past regional advisor, Roz Carter. Roz?
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Ryan, and thank you all of our Toastmasters and friends tonight. I remember when I went out for the qualified speaker designation. We were meeting at the Veterans Auditorium, and I was told that evaluations were pretty scary. Well, you know, they shouldn't have told me that because I went in there very nervous. I thought I knew these Toastmasters, and I'm like, surely they're going to give those kind, perhaps whitewashed evaluations that I was accustomed to in my club. But I was wrong. They had serious, compelling, constructive thoughts to give me and other members who were planning to seek out their qualified speaker designation. So I remember people saying, oh, when you were speaking about this and that, and you sort of moved away from the microphone and you took over the stage, your speech. I had imitated with fake food and a tray that dilemma that I told most of you about when I walked into a Toastmasters meeting and they sent me out and said it's for women only, but go down the hall for the Toastmasters, right? And I dropped the tray and it startled everyone, but it was the best prop that I could think of. Startling everybody into that feeling that I still feel today, that Toastmasters did not want me because I was a woman. 30 years later, I joined, and the rest is history. But one of the evaluations that I received was from a gentleman who said, my appearance was distracting, and I need to try to fix that. He said, it was okay when, but your dress. I had this beautiful green design dress, and it had fringes on the edge of the skirt. And he said the fringes were distracting when you walked across the stage. And I couldn't keep my eyes off of that. And I didn't pay attention to what you were saying in your speech. I laughed to myself because I said, this is my best dress. How dare you? How dare you say it distracted you? Maybe he was flirting with me. What do you guys think? But anyway, part of that experience brings me to Toastmasters. And I'm proud to say that I'm in a story that many of you are also in Heart of a Toastmaster book. I also take this book with me sometimes because it reminds me I'm busy helping start new clubs as an area director for the second time. And being a region advisor, it showed me a whole dimension of different districts and how they pursue getting new clubs, whether community or corporate. It's a daunting task, people, but we keep trying, don't we? We want to start new clubs. We want to sustain them, and we want to keep them vibrant. So Pat Johnson's book is like my Bible right now, working as an area director in District 12. But what do you know about Roz? Roz could speak about her 25 plus years working in human resources. They say if you take care of the people, they'll take care of your. Anyone here who has some kind of HR experience or professional experience or management experience can relate to that. I take it deep inside of my soul to want to help others. And my background sort of weaves into that. I took a trip to Israel with my church, and I have on video being baptized in the Jordan River and walked where Jesus walked. I will never forget that experience. I want to be a TEDx speaker. So those of you like Melinda and others who can help me, the story in my heart is about the girls that went away, the teenage girls who were sent away when they were pregnant. And that was me. When my daughter was 36 years old, she found me. We have a wonderful relationship now. It's like as if she was raised with me and we grew up together. She's 50 years old now. And I won't say how old I am, but I was 17 when she was born. So do the math. With that background of being baptized in the Jordan River, telling my story about giving up a beautiful daughter for adoption and maintaining that relationship, and Toastmasters starting clubs and sustaining them. Put them all together, like Darren Jaya said, and that's Roz. I can tell you more stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Roz. Oh, you brought back memories when you were talking about those severe evaluations. It really was true. I mentioned that a few times at these meetings that, 10 years ago when Jack Cantola and Carlos Bellarezo were chairs of Speakers Bureau, that you were not allowed, as a QS, you were not allowed to say anything positive about the person's speech. You were only, you expected to be good, and so we were only going to help you to get better. And so that was what they did, and you had to kind of go through the gauntlet, I guess you might say, to get through that process. And I remember that well, and I'm sure that is a tremendous impact on those speakers coming in. Now, whenever I get a lot of calls about people wanting to find a Toastmaster club, and it's funny, I always suggest that they visit a number of clubs and they choose the club with the best evaluators rather than the club with the best speakers, because that's how you will learn. And I really truly believe that our qualified speakers are the great set of the best evaluators in the district, because they do give you those good evaluations. And even if you say go for your qualified speaker and don't make it, you got evaluated and made suggestions by the best. So certainly a reason to attempt it, even if you're not sure whether you can meet that goal. Certainly it's a good experience for those who wish to do it. Our next speaker has certainly gone through the gauntlet of the world of giving speeches, because he is an excellent speaker and always been a good speaker, and he has helped probably more people achieve their qualified speaker than anybody else in the district. Our Randy Powell. Randy.
Oh, hey, thank you so much. I got a quick question before I get started. I want to ask you if you've ever lied to yourself. Now, I want to say that the reason I'm asking that question is because I want you to think back when you were young, much younger than we are today. Even if you're the youngest speaker and the youngest person here, Ryan, because I think that we have all told at least a little lie. When I was growing up, I grew up in a let's say a very domineering household when it comes to good old mom. My father left when I was young, and I had an older brother and a younger brother. My oldest brother passed away when he was 21 years old. I was 14 years old, and I had to grow up that day. And thank goodness my mom happened to have this gentleman who she had been dating for years, and he was a flight engineer in the United States Air Force. And I remember him, his nickname was Stack, and I remember him pulling me into his 67 T-Bird out back to break the news to me. Long story short, he said to me, "You're going to have to grow up and be a man today, and when we go inside the house, that's going to be your number one job, to take care of your mother." So after he broke the news to me and I got my composure, that's exactly what I decided to do. And I had a younger brother, so I had to become the protector. And of course, all those little white lies that you say and that you tell when you're young kind of fade away, because the reality is you start maturing and growing up. And whether you grow up fast or whether you grow up slow, we've all told a lie to ourselves. I think one of the worst lies we could tell ourselves as adults, though, is that we're not good enough, that we cannot compare to other people, that we cannot achieve our dreams, that we are not good enough to do what exactly we want to do in life. So what happens? We are like pinball machines. You know the old pinball machines when you have that ball, that silver ball, and your only job was to keep that thing going so it wouldn't drop off into the abyss? Well, that's kind of what life is like. You're trying to do everything you can to keep that ball in space because your life depends on it. And if you've ever been bounced around from job to job, if you've ever had failures in your life, if you've ever come across roadblocks, those speed humps that Diane Piela is talking about, that's kind of what beats us up. In 2013, after serving the United States Air Force for 22 years, after becoming a college graduate, after raising a family, after doing all kinds of stints with Fortune 500 companies, Randy Powell lost his job, came into work one day and they said, they don't need me anymore. Well, I just happened to be really young at that time. I was well over 50 years old. What do? Life comes to a screeching halt. And you know why it comes to a screeching halt when you get some bad news or you get some shocking news? It comes to a screeching halt because we do something we should not do. We get wrapped up in our jobs. We get wrapped up in working and doing, but we're not doing for ourselves. So I say to you today, ladies and gentlemen, if you do nothing else, at this stage in your career, at this stage in your life, where you are today, sit back and take a look at yourself and ask yourself this question. Matter of fact, ask yourself these 3 questions because it matters. No matter how long we live, we still have something out there ahead of us, or we would not be up and we would not be breathing. So the first question I had to ask myself when I lost my job was, who am I? Who am I? I had to take a look and I had to take some time out of the rat race to figure out, because I went into shock and I lost my identity for a moment. And then I said, okay, I know who I am now. What am I supposed to be doing with this precious life that's been given to me? Because of course, there's gotta be more to life than just working. And then the third question that I would suggest you ask yourself, are you doing what you love? Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing with this life? And am I doing what I actually love to do? And what my gifts and talents, what is it that I ought to be doing at this stage in my life? So fast forward, I talk with Cheryl Rouse, I talk with my wife, I talk with family members, I end up becoming a speaker and a coach, and I absolutely love what I do. I absolutely love it. I get up every day living life to the fullest. And whether I live for 3 years or 10 years or 30 years, I know what I'm going to be doing the rest of my life because I know my purpose. So I ask you today, where you are today, do you know your purpose in life? The one thing that I found out through all of these travels of the last 10 years is that we need to know and identify what is our purpose in life, because that's the key to success. And I use success in this manner. It's a caveat, because success is what you define it to be for yourself. So whatever that is for you, it may be something different for each and every person here. But once you decide what that is for you, the world, the universe, I don't know why it works this way, but it opens up for you. I've spoken on stages across the states, as Tom said. I'm proud that I do have the record still for the most qualified speakers that I've sponsored. Everyone I've sponsored has passed, and that's awesome. And what's really driving that is because I want to add as much value to people's lives as possible, because that's what I see as the thing. People, when it's all said and done, when I'm no longer here, it's what has Randy Powell done, really truly done for other people. Because that's what we have. We have our family, we have our friends, our colleagues. So what value will I be remembered that I added something to somebody's life? And each and every one of you have something that you're supposed to be doing. And if you don't do it, it won't get done. As Les Brown says, it will not get done unless you do it. So I'm able to be found at randypowellspeaks.com. And I'm launching the second brand, Envision Success, this year. I'm proud to say that. And most of all, I'm proud to say that I have every day I get up and I am excited, whether it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I get up every day about that time. I'm excited to see another day because I know what it's like not to have that opportunity. You see, I had asthma And I've had that near-death experience and lots of other experiences where I'm absolutely blessed to be here. And I know that, I recognize that. I'm proud to be a Toastmaster. I'm proud to speak on behalf of Toastmasters. And I'm also extremely happy to see each and every one of you here, because this last couple of years, as we all know, has been extremely tough in a number of different ways. Now, what do I speak on? I'm only going to share with you real quickly 2 speeches out of the 4 keynotes that I talk on. The first one, obviously, is the magic of purpose, because it's my belief that if you know your purpose, that's the gateway to success, happiness, joyfulness, and all of those things that you are supposed to be living in your life. It's just the way it is. And the second speech is all about the wake-up call. Now, why the wake-up call? Because throughout life, even as a little boy, I got wake-up calls, and I know you did, but they were close calls, but we didn't get hurt. We didn't grab our attention. But think about, as an adult, going down the freeway, you see an accident happen.
Michael, Ed, Rose, those are the only ones you're missing.
That's a wake-up call when you see an accident. You slow down, and as soon as you get past the accident, what do? Step on the gas and you get going again. However, if you reverse that process and you go down the freeway and you see someone that you know and they had been in a car accident, that wake-up call is a different kind of attention grabber. Now, that wake-up call is something that you're going to pay attention to, and it's going to cause a significant emotional event, which will translate into you changing your behavior. And throughout life, you need to pay attention to wake-up calls, because those are the calls, and we don't know when we're going to get them. We don't know how often, but if we pay attention, one of those wake-up calls will change everything for the better. This is Randy Powell from Randy Powell Speaks and Envision Success. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and I wish you all well in 2022.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, you have, certainly, I mentioned before, have been one of the supreme coaches in terms of helping mentor people to get through their qualified speakers. So you have done that many times, and we have, I think we probably have some in the audience that are working in that direction. Now, one of our, at least one, maybe a couple of our speakers have not made it. And we do have some qualified speakers in the audience that I am sure on a drop of a hat can come in prepared to give us a few minutes of introduction. Do I see a volunteer? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the room that haven't spoken. Do I see one of you would wish to jump in and give us a few words? We're waiting for the chair of the District 49 Hawaii Speakers Bureau. She thought she could be here, and I'm not sure why she's not. And we will, of course, end with Ralph Rivers. So do I have a volunteer from one of the qualified speakers in the room?
Okay, bye-bye.
If I don't get a volunteer, I know who I'm going to call on. So, Suzanne, give us a little introduction. Our fearless district leader, Suzanne Leonard, a qualified speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I have a special excitement for me tomorrow night. My home club, Valley Toastmasters, that has been a President's Distinguished Club for 14 years. And I'm proud to be a member of them and working and growing. I had an opportunity to reconnect. I stay in touch with one of the last first graders that I taught in 1997 when I retired from teaching and went into something else to do. Her name is Alicia Ashwando, and we were having our conversation like we normally do 2 or 3 times a year. And so I asked her, I said, so what's up? What's new with you? And of course, the new puppy, new boyfriend, new house, all those externals. And she said, because Northern California has been, as Greg knows, and those of us who stay in touch or have family in Northern California, under forest fire siege this past year. And she works for the State Department of Parks and Recreation. And she recently had her facility burned to the ground just before Christmas. And I could feel the tremor in her voice a bit. And so I said, so, Alicia, what are you going to do now? And she said that she was going to be taking a state job and that she hadn't worked inside with adults because she led children's camps and adult camps, of course, in a long time. And she wasn't sure. Now, here was the key word, because we always need to be listening for the opportunity to invite people into Toastmasters. I know, Tom, you would expect me to say that. So I listened, and she said, I'm not sure I know how to speak with adults. Firecrackers went off, and I said, you know, I usually send you something for Christmas. We've been in touch these 21 years. And I said, how about a Toastmaster membership? You would do that for me? Really? She still calls me Mrs. L. And it's like, come on, stop with that. And so tomorrow night through Zoom, she is meeting her fellow Toastmasters at Valley Toastmasters, and she is becoming a brand new Toastmasters. I feel like a fairy godmother. It's as close as I'll probably come in this life. So that's the good news, and I couldn't be happier about it, to not only welcome her into Toastmasters, but welcome her into the kind of club that we all aspire to being a part of. One that has wonderful evaluators, officers that are trained and that show up, and all the good things that we promise all the people that we welcome into Toastmasters. So a gift for her, a thrill for me, and that's what we're about, inviting people into communication and leadership and the joy of personal advancement. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Suzanne. Yes, that is so special that I was thinking about that. What a wonderful gift to give someone you know can accomplish, especially at a young age. I really believe that if we got more of our younger people, this is something you probably don't even know, Suzanne. When I was district governor, we had a special reward for clubs that got somebody to join 25 and under. They got one of those little tiny golden gavels, but the club got that to use however they wished. That was our motivation to get clubs to get young members. And so to give that gift will change a person's life tremendously it's a really wonderful thing. We had one of my responsibilities always has been to work with gavel clubs to help them get started. And we have a gavel club member near Redlands who Connie and I worked with that gavel club with Jack Cantole and some other members of 1348. And we went to that first meeting, and my name doesn't even come to my mind, but we noticed a girl stood out for being the least likely to want to speak at that with 14 members in the gavel club. It was like pulling teeth to get her to even say her name out loud. Ended up later on joining that gavel club again, running her own gavel club after that, and become a member of Toastmasters at the day she turned 18. She started going to the club that rocks. So someone will probably know who that person is.
Peter.
So Peter, do you know her name? Peter?
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, a person that joined your club just within the last year or two, who was 18 or so when she joined, and from a gavel club. She'd been in gavel club before that, but I can't remember.
That's Elio Allen.
What was it? First name again?
Elio
Allen.
Elio.
Yes, I don't know if she's still there or anything. All I know, it's a wonderful story that she went from being the shyest person in the whole group of 14 students in that gavel club. I do see a couple of other qualified speakers. You might want to volunteer first so you don't get called on. Do I see someone out there who speak to us a little bit? No, I can't imagine Charles Radney turning down the opportunity to say something, a former chair of the Speakers Bureau. So since you, at first I picked on a district governor and then a former chair, we're going down the ranking here, so.
Yeah, Greg raised his hand over here.
I'm not an accredited speaker, but I can speak.
Okay, well, let me get to Charles first.
Okay, that's fine.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters. Being a part of this organization, I've seen people grow tremendously. It's an ongoing system. I've seen how Randy has excelled. I've watched and been helped by Roz over the years. there's things I've learned from Bruce, who's not here tonight. This is going to be our year to excel and go further.
I can't hear him. Can you say something? Are you there, Charles? I think I'm not hearing anything.
Did anybody else not hear me, or was it just?
I didn't hear what, there was a question. I didn't.
No, I said 2022 is going to be a year for everybody to grow. I've seen the growth from Randy. I've seen the growth through Bruce. I've seen the support through Roz. It's an ongoing, upgoing situation. Make it work.
He's finished.
Okay. Let's see. I do see another. Oh, Greg said he was going to speak, but I see Olivia. I can't imagine him turning down the opportunity. Let's go to Greg, and we'll go to Olivia after that.
Well, thank you, and Happy New Year's to everybody as we turn a new page in our lives. Just
Our
remember,
past national director and past district governor of District 12. I should have done that with my introduction. I was thinking ahead. Go ahead.
thank you, Tom, and Happy New Year's, everybody, as we turn the next page, page number 2022. That's a lot of pages in some of our lives. And somebody complain about getting older and so forth, but just remember there's many that don't share that privilege that we have. So I'm here with you. I'm still 75, looking forward to 76 sometime soon. Anyway, I want to take you back in history. Think about going back a little bit and pondering on where you've been. It was 1989, the first year that District 12 has been established, the 88, 89 year. And I was serving, and we just left Founders District. I was serving as the area C1 governor. Now, I joined in 87, so I've only been a Toastmaster a little over 2 years, and here I'm already an area governor or director nowadays, and I'm trying to learn and understand and figure this out, the leadership role. Well, one of the things that we were to do was start clubs, and I went down to the basement of the county building, gathered up a bunch of county employees, and we started a new club, Lemon Street Toastmasters. And it was exciting. Now, here again, I'm a young Toastmaster, and I'm trying to get this thing started. And whatever short wisdom I have as my potential leader from Club 1348, that gave me a lot of the basics. We put this club together. Now, we got the officers selected. We turned in the charter, we celebrated. And just before our first meeting as a club, the club president moved across the country. Wow, that could be a setback, because here you are, ready, set, go, but you lost the go. There goes the president. So I talked to this young gal, she's an attorney, who was the vice president of education. And after some sharing with her and motivating and trying to pull every trick out of the hat I could, finally stepped up and agreed to, I'll be the president. And I says, I'll be there right beside you as your mentor. And the club got a good start under her direction. She since went on to be an area governor, a division governor, to become a distinguished Toastmaster. And today she is practicing her own ministry in Colorado. Ann Yecke has been one of my favorite mentees and dear friend for many, many years. If you want to talk about purpose in life, you truly do that. Being a mentor or a mentee enhances that purpose that keeps us going, the purpose that puts the sparkle into life, and the memories of knowing that when I leave this earth, I didn't take it all with me. I left some treasures behind to allow other people to find their purpose and maybe enhance their future. And hopefully once in a while, they might remember me, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Greg, for jumping in and saying a few words and telling us a little bit about our history. Now, Alicia, one of our within the last year, I think you qualified as the qualified speaker. So tell us a little bit about yourself. And I think Kimberly is here, so I may call on her if she doesn't abandon our ship.
Hi, everyone. As Tom mentioned, I'm one of your more newly minted QSs, having been granted that designation back in August of 2020, I believe is when I did it. One of the things that I came to this club, is because I was on a mission. We've heard talk about leadership and about legacy, and I was at the point in my life about that time that I feel I had already discovered both. And I figured by becoming a QS, it would help me further along in those goals. Specifically, as many of you here know, I do leading research in terms of fasting. I've cured my type 2 diabetes, a lot of my metabolic syndrome diseases, and currently I'm running an experiment to see about curing damage from congestive heart failure from a negative reaction to the Pfizer vaccine. For those of you who are well aware of heart issues, I've already accomplished half of my goal. I've increased my ejection fraction from 40% to normal, 65%. I did that in 6.5 months. And I was able to drop my heart medications from 3 down to 2. Again, the primary goal is to become medication free, which would be quite an achievement because currently medical establishment thinking is, once you have a heart attack, you're on heart medication forever. Well, I'm going to prove them wrong because I did it with type 2 diabetes, and I think I got a good shot here. I want to tell you that by being here, listening to everyone, I consider everyone here my mentor. Hearing them share their experiences, sharing their leadership experiences inspires me to go out there and to continue battling because what I'm doing is not popular with the drug companies. It's not popular with the food companies. It's not popular with the gym companies because it's all natural and it's all free. What I'm saying is this, I'm just showing the way that each and every one of you here has the power to heal yourself. Now, I'm not saying it's a panacea for everything. Obviously, fasting is not going to heal a broken leg, but you can increase what we call the health span of your life, which is the quality of the life you have, and shrink that amount of time in which you suffered before you pass on to the next phase in your existence. I want to emphasize, each and every one of you has a gift. And this is a very great avenue to help you find that gift and communicate that gift. And more importantly, it's more important, as it's mentioned before, we are all here to learn something. But more importantly, once we've learned that, is to pass on to everyone around us so they can increase their lives. I'm a recovering Catholic. I joke about it. I went to parochial school. I went to all boys Catholic school. I just have this image in my head that at the end of this life, God is going to sit there like Judge Judy at the top of that bench and look over and look down upon me and say, so dude, what did you do with the gifts that I give you? And that, in my mind, is what I would be able to say and point to my life and say, this is what I did. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Theo. Appreciate your thoughts and suggestions and give us much to think about. All right, Kimberly, are you still there? Kimberly Austin Smith.
I am here. Good evening, everyone. Hello for my fellow Toastmasters. Let me say it is such a privilege to be here with you all as we welcome in 2022. As I listened to the person, and I can't remember the name, right before the last speaker spoke about Toastmasters and the value of mentorship, it really spoke to my heart because that is why I joined Toastmasters just 3 years ago. I had spent over 20 years in the professional world on the circuit of speaking and corporate training and doing all of that great stuff. But when I discovered Toastmasters or decided to join, it was so that I can be a blessing to someone else. I truly believe that God has given me the gift and talent to speak. And it wasn't for me only, but it was for me to share with other people. And so I've taken that time to not only learn the ins and outs of Toastmasters, but spend that time connecting with other leaders and mentors and thinking about how can I make the greatest impact in this world as I help people build their communication and leadership skills here in Toastmasters. I've had the privilege of being a member of 3 Toastmasters clubs. I am fortunate enough to be a member here of the Speakers Bureau, qualified for QS here maybe 2 years ago, recently earned my Distinguished Toastmasters. But I'll tell you, it was a journey, and a journey that I could not replace, that I would not take away. But instead, I encourage people to look at how Toastmasters can enhance their lives. Just from the connections, the time of fellowship in our club meetings, you know, and I think every meeting is different. Every club is different and brings something unique to the table, which is what I love. We have one club that is pure fun. We come there, we have fun, we laugh, we joke, and we do all kind of thematic things from week to week. And then there's another club that's really, I'll call it straight lace for lack of a better word. You know, we motivate, we inspire, but at the same note, we're very on the schedule, on the minute, on the hour. So regardless of where you stand in your desire to speak and lead, you're going to find something different. You know, there's what they say, there's different paces for different races, and that's physical race, meaning where you are in their journey in life. And so it's been a true journey. And I speak to you here from a very casual standpoint, because that's what Toastmaster has done for me and is allowing me to do for others. As I mentor and coach my mentees, the thing I say to them is have fun and speak from your heart. When you speak from your heart, you can go places you've never dreamed possible. A lot of times we spend time worrying about what someone else is going to think, someone else's opinion. But when you speak from this piece right here in your body, you're going to find yourself going places and seeing things you never thought possible. So that would be my special moment, special time here at Toastmasters. And I'm just grateful to be here with you all tonight as we enter 2022. I'm looking for great things, expecting great things, and I know all of you are expecting and will produce the same things. Thank you, Tom, for the opportunity to share.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yes, I knew you would be able to bring in that fire and energy that you have when you present, whenever you present. That's really good. Now, I do see that we have 2 more qualified speakers in the room who have not spoken. And I'm not sure whether Suzanne Ali, are you available to say a few words? And Esther would be the other one that's still left that hasn't been called on. I'm not sure we can count Esther because she didn't get her pin yet, but I'm going to make sure she gets it. But I would call on one of you 2 if you have, because we do have a little more time left before we get to our crescendo at the end of our meeting. Suzanne, are you here? Maybe not. She was here earlier, but anyway. And Esther, how about you? Ah, she's there.
Well, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year 2022.
Yes,
What
I'm
do
sorry.
I say?
Director Esther and newest qualified speaker. That should have been part of my introduction, but go ahead.
All right. Oh, thank you, Tom, for the opportunity. I came to hang tonight. I wasn't planning on speaking. I wanted to hear the other seasoned qualified speakers, but who said that? Darren LaCroix, stage time, you never pass stage time. So here I am. For me, Toastmasters has just been a wonderful vehicle for me, especially on the business side. I love the leadership side of Toastmasters. It has served me well. I have grown my business. I have served my community here in the Temecula area, and I use Toastmasters in several different areas. the area, before I even became a qualified speaker, I spoke a lot. There are two things that are certain in life, death and taxes is mine. I always spoke on taxes. And with regards to District 12, New Club building, Roz talked about it. I love New Club building. I've built several clubs here in District 12. First of all, as an area director, then division director, as a, what do you call it now? CGD, Club Growth Director, and then as a district director. Then this year when Melissa was looking for somebody and all opportunities lost and could not find someone, I stepped in that role once again as the district New Club extension chair. And then Tommy recruited me also on her part for a coach mentor. So I mentor several coaches. Many of you here spoke about mentoring. I'm passionate about mentoring. I've mentored several past district leaders here in District 12 and outside District 12. I get called to other districts to speak. And this is all due to the success of District 12. Our team achieved great success in 2015, 2016. And based on that, people want us to share. We all want to give back. And how do you give back? You always give back on something that you know most about. And for us here in District 12, I have shared about the 12-week year plan. I've shared about Scrum. That's how District 12 became successful. And with regards to mentoring, Greg mentioned one of his mentees. That mentee was my mentor, Lemon Street Toastmasters. And Knighton just became one of the best mentors I encountered in my beginning journey of District 12 while at Lemon Street Toastmasters. Here we are today. I have done all things District 12, especially the district level. And when the opportunity came, somebody said, hey, you've done everything. Have you tried qualified speaker? That's one of the reasons I went for it. It wasn't in my cards. It wasn't something that I wanted to do ever because I didn't know where I was going to use it. But I took that human being for that challenge and I did it. Kimberly Austin mentioned some clubs there. Yes, we all belong to different clubs. I also have a club where we're playful, and I also have a club where business, we're mentoring, we're making sure that new members have all the mentoring that they need. And outside of Toastmasters, I also mentor young accounting, upcoming accounting students. I'm passionate about seeing other students succeed because somebody took me under their wing. And that's how I became a CPA, because they showed me all the ropes. Other than that, I wish you all the best for 2022. I know our district director is looking forward to achieving success. And as always, I'm always part of District 12 success, and I want to see District 12 success because we all want to belong to an elite group of leaders, not just mediocre. And those are the standards that I've set for myself, and I set those standards also for the people that I work with. I thank you all for this opportunity, and thank you, Tom. I will be looking out in the mail for that pin. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Esther. Now, I was always sensitive about this particular issue. When you introduce district governors, you introduce them by what their designation was. If they achieved distinguished, select distinguished, or president's distinguished. And I think we have two of them that achieved that in this room. One of those was you, Esther, who achieved the highest level of achievement leading our district. And Greg, you were president's distinguished too when you were district governor, right, of 12. Is that true?
Yes, number 3 internationally, our district.
Yeah, so we have a couple very special leaders. And if you want hints about leadership, those are the two, especially those two. You need to chat with them about how to run a successful district.